Good morning, this is Mike Perkins with staff at TWIA who just joined us.
Yeah, good morning, Mike. This is Mark Hall with PSAB. I'm monitoring the stream.
Oh, thanks, Mark. Good morning again. Good morning for the second time.
Yep, no worries.
Good morning, this is Mike Perkins here with the TWIA staff who just joined us.
Hi, Mike. This is Debbie King.
Hi,
Josh
Debbie.
Fields here.
Hello, Josh.
How are you?
Bruce Sarah.
Mike, this is Jennifer. I'm also here.
Good morning, everyone. It's 10 o'clock, and we will begin by calling the roll with our committee members. If you're on the line, please just grab the microphone and announce your presence.
Josh Fields here. Committee of one.
Debbie King here.
Bruce Sarah on the line.
Jennifer Armstrong, I'm on the line as well.
I think we're just waiting for our chairman, Mr. Schaffner. We'll give him a minute here. Good morning. Who just joined us?
Hi, Karen Guard's out here.
Good morning, Karen. This is Mike Perkins at the offices of TWIA with the staff. Once we have assembled our full committee, we'll announce everyone who's present and get the meeting underway. Amy just received a text indicating our chairman's having a little trouble dialing in, so we'll just be patient while we sort through that, please. Mr. Schaffner, is that you?
No, this is Chandra.
Oh, Chandra, hello. This is Mike Perkins at the offices of TWIA with staff. We're waiting for Mr. Schaffner to dial in. He was having a little technical difficulty. Committee members Josh and Debbie are on the call with us. Ms. Gard is also on the call.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry for a little bit of tardiness. I was trying to get on a moment ago and could not, it was saying the access code was not valid, so I apologize.
Well, good morning, Mr. Schaffner. It's just a few minutes after 10, and we'll begin the meeting by confirming the voices that we've heard on the phone for you so you'll know who is with you today. Your other committee members, Debbie King and Josh Fields, are on the line. Board members Karen Gard and Chandra are on the line. And we also have a couple of TWI staff members that dialed in remotely. Here in the TWI offices, we have a group of TWI staff, including Amy Kale, Denise, David Durden, Jerry, Mr. Pollock, and myself. We also have a few others in the room, and we have two guests from TDI, David Mucker, Heidi, and Ms. Baker. I think we're ready to begin the meeting. Mr. Schaffner, I'll kind of turn it over to you to call the meeting to order, and then if you'll let me have the microphone back after that to say a few brief words about antitrust and conflict of interest, and then we'll let you take off with your agenda, sir.
Sure. Thank you very much, Mike. I appreciate this. Would like to call to order the meeting, the executive committee meeting today on Thursday, September 12th, to discuss and review the executive committee meeting minutes from the prior meeting and also discuss the actuarial and underwriting committee. With that, I'd like to turn it back over to Mike to discuss our antitrust statement and also a disclosure of a statement regarding any potential conflicts of interest.
Thank you very much, Mr. Schaffner. This is a TWI board committee meeting, and as such, our antitrust statement applies, and so we just want to begin our meeting in the traditional way by reminding everyone of that. We also have a new requirement that we need to address today because of a recent legislative change. Chapter 2210 of the Texas Insurance Code now requires TWIA board members and certain committee members to make public conflict of interest disclosures with respect to matters before any discussion or vote thereon. Such potential conflicts of interest include a financial or personal interest in an entity that may benefit financially from the outcome of the discussion or vote, and holding an insurance policy issued by the association that may be affected by the discussion or vote. I'm going to pause briefly. We're getting a little bit of feedback. If you have an open line, you might mute your phone if you have the ability to do that if you are on the call. Thank you. Continuing on. Today's meeting is a meeting of the TWIA Executive Committee, whose members are Debbie King, Josh Fields, and Brian Schaffner, all of whom are TWIA board members. Today's meeting agenda includes the following topics that TWIA staff has determined may have the potential to trigger required disclosures. Establishment of the membership of the TWIA Actuarial and Underwriting Committee. In connection with discussion and voting on this topic, the following disclosures are hereby made by the board members named below. Brian Schaffner is a licensed insurance agent. Josh Fields is a licensed insurance agent and is an owner and an employee of a licensed insurance agency. Debbie King is employed by a TWIA member insurer. If any member of the committee is aware of any other disclosure that needs to be made at this meeting, please speak up. Are there any questions from the committee members?
No, thank you, Mike.
Well, all right then, with that behind us, Mr. Schaffner, you can proceed with your agenda, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So with that, we'll move on to item 2 on the agenda, which will be a review and approval of the executive committee minutes from our last meeting. Is there any discussion with regard to those minutes? I believe the last meeting was shown to have been on May 10th, 2017. I need a motion to approve the approval of those minutes.
So moved.
Do I hear
I
a second?
I second.
Okay, any other discussion? If not, then approval, say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion's approved unanimously. Okay, moving on to item number 3, which is the primary purpose, obviously, of this call. That would be to discuss and approve the membership of and development of a TWIA actuarial and underwriting committee. I believe I have a list of names. John, do you want to prefix this before I announce who the names on the list are that have volunteered, as I understand?
Yeah, we do have one update. Mr. Goodman has decided to withdraw his name from consideration. So what we have now is a list of 7 committee members, all of whom have agreed to serve on this committee. The list was drawn up at the direction of the board at the last full meeting, and was an attempt to provide a slate of nominees that the executive committee can either approve as is, add to, or delete names from consideration. It is reasonably balanced in terms of representatives from the coast, from non-coastal, as well as from the companies. And so with that, I turn it back over to you unless there are any questions.
I understand that there's currently with the fact that Mr. Goodman has decided to recuse himself from consideration. There is no retail agent representative that would be on this committee. Is that correct?
That would appear to be correct.
Okay. I showed that the proposed actuarial committee members. I'm sorry. Were you trying to say that or something, or was there just some kickback on the phone?
I'm voting for kickback.
Okay, then I'll move on. I show the proposed committee members would be Debbie King as committee chair from AmTrust Group, Tony Schrader, who's a member of the TWIA board of directors and is with the Iowa Department of Insurance, retired from the Iowa Department of Insurance. Marilyn Hamilton, who's retired from the Texas Department of Insurance. Georgia Neblett, who's with the University of Texas Marine Science Institute. David, and I don't want to butcher this name, but Futterlib, with Travelers Insurance. And Carice Morrison with USAA. And Stephen Alexander with Alexander Actuarial Consulting. Is there any questions with regard to any of these people, or any considerations for anyone else to be considered to be added to this committee?
I'm just curious. This is Debbie, Brian. I'm just curious if there was to be a set number of people, and if Wally's spot will be filled, or how is that? How is the number of people determined originally?
It was purely arbitrary.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say there was no set number. All I did was kind of go through and kind of working around a number that of 7, 8, or 9, And all I tried to do was to get it as diversified in terms of representation as possible. There was no intent to come up with a preordained number. I felt that if the board wanted a specific number, they could so direct us.
I do think it's in our best interest to have an odd number, whether that be 7 or if we were going to increase, I'd like to, make sure that it remains at an odd number just from a standpoint of voting or recommendations to the board, so that there could be a clear decision on what would be presented with regard to any recommendations with regard to rates or any move, any other direction. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
At this point, I think it's just going to be hard to populate the committee with any more qualified folks. I think we've probably got the best slate that we're liable to get, at least for right now.
So with that, then what I would ask is that we have a vote or a motion on this. Do we need a motion, or is it actually called for just a vote, or how do we need to go about this with just a 3-person committee? John?
Brian, this is Mike. I'd recommend you just go ahead and ask one of your fellow committee members to make a motion, and if the other wants to second it, then you can proceed to vote.
Okay. Can I have a motion for the approval of this committee, or is there any other discussion?
I'll move to move forward with the committee members outlined, the 7 committee members.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any other discussion with regard to this? If not, then I would ask all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. So unanimously, we have no nays. We'll move forward with that. Is there any other matters of business to be discussed? Do we have any idea of when the first meeting might take place?
Now that we have approval of the committee, we will reach out via poll to find a date that works for the committee members. So I'm not sure when that would be, but it'll be. Give me the proposed dates that you have right now.
At this point, this is Amy Kale. At this point, the proposed dates for the Actuarial and Underwriting Committee meeting are October 15th and 17th. I'll be sending out a poll to the newly formed committee members and asking them what date they prefer, and we'll get that on the calendar as soon as possible.
Okay. Thank you, Amy. John, anything else?
No, sir, I don't believe so.
Okay. All right. Well, then I will thank everybody for being on the phone call, and we'll consider us adjourned unless I need to make a motion for that.
Mr. Chairman, I think you just adjourned the meeting.
Okay. All right. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.